Hello everyone. This is our weekly writers meeting together with Laitman. Hello Laitman. Laitman. Hello everyone. Duty. And we're live on Laitman's Facebook page, so you're welcome to send us questions on current events. We'll start with the first question. We're still in the days post-coronavirus. We're still recuperating slowly, coming back to our daily routines, and we had the children at home, we had all our children at home, and now it happened. 500,000 children up to age 6 returned to kindergarten, and also there are fears that complications following the coronavirus may harm children. So in New York, 3 children died and 70 are hospitalized. A month ago, you said that you felt that the coronavirus will come to harm children as well. So we want to ask you, what else do you foresee? And are you worried about children and adults returning to their routines? Laitman. Look, these blows will come from the light to the heavy, gradually. So, with respect to what's dear to man. So first it will be the old, then those in their middle age, and then what's most precious to everyone, the children. They will be harmed also. And I'm certain that nature has many more blows, many more means in store for how to fix us. But it all depends on how we respond. If we see that all these things come in order to set us up correctly in terms of our relationships between one another and our relationship to nature in general, then we will put a stop to this coronavirus and it will stop spreading. However, if we behave as we do now, only looking for ways to run from it, not wanting to see nature's reaction for what it is, which is something coming to us in order to fix us, arrange us properly, then I foresee many more blows. Dudi, what is nature's plan? Can you share with us? Because it seems that, it will harm us and take those precious to us. Laitman, the plan of nature is to create an integral humanity, as we said many times, from the time this virus started. I said it immediately. Nature demands of us to enter the integral system, which governs us entirely. The inanimate, the vegetative, the animate animals, and people. People have free choice if to be part of that system or not. And so here we have a certain conflict with nature. We don't want to connect together and to take everyone into account, to be considerate, while nature has this integral law to it, and it is pushing us towards it. So as an outcome, we feel the pressure of nature upon us through various such blows. Duty. A new survey from the Institute for Studying Crisis showed that people say that they will go less to malls, they will fly around less tourism. That's what they say. Do you see anything happening here that's special? That Laitman, no, it's like a child when he misbehaves. You say to him, we won't give you a ball to play with. It's not what it's about. It's about us behaving correctly. We fall from the integrality of nature in terms of our behavior, and then nature by force wants to return us to it. So in bringing us back to it, you have, it's not the same forces as those operating in the inanimate, vegetative, and animate degrees, which without questions bring them back, limiting them, punishing them. Here, nature does it in such a way where we ourselves need to learn and understand and decide, and to also observe those laws and our decisions by way of awareness and just being knowledgeable about it. We need to know why the blows are coming. It's impossible to learn from any science, but only through gradual observation of what happens to us as nature affects us. We learn for thousands of years. We've seen that we've learned something, right? As human beings, not much, but we did learn something over history. So we will learn something from this as well. And how much time will it take? As much as it takes. Duty. So if I stop flying around, if I buy less, I stop exploiting nature, I understand that it's bad, I stop it. That's not enough? Laitman, nature doesn't demand that. It doesn't demand it. It wants you to stop and to think, what's wrong with my behavior? Why am I constantly suffering? Because there's the matter of the punishments, the blows here, which we need to learn something from. Why am I suffering? What's going on? What am I doing incorrectly? Many times in my life I spoke to people who came to me to ask questions, and many say this. Tell me, what am I doing wrong? Why do I get such problems, such punishments? Why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to me? What in my behavior is wrong? What did I do? Where did I make the mistake? That's what people are asking. So we can ask such a question with respect to our purpose and destiny, and to receive some reply, some answer, some knowledge. Dudi, I don't understand what it means to ask our destiny. Where do you ask such question? Laitman, why am I suffering? Why can't I just live well? Why do I keep getting harmed and hurt? Why? Why? The question isn't it a proper question? Dudi, yes, it's a proper question, but if I try to answer, I say that I'm just a victim of this society. This is how I was born and educated. That's why everyone are as they are. I'm talking about myself now. Laitman, and that answer satisfies you? Dudi, no, it doesn't, but I'm also very small, compared to coronavirus epidemics and so on. Laitman, okay, so you'll suffer until you say enough is enough, and you'll start to change your behavior, the behavior of society as a whole. It depends on the magnitude of suffering that you feel. Shelley. Rav, up to now, we talked about some kind of massive global education for the whole of humanity that the coronavirus wants to put us through, and also we have the side of the wisdom of Kabbalah in that. But when you talk about danger to children, that doesn't leave me much time to wait for global processes to happen. I want to know what I can do right now so that such viruses don't come and harm our children. Laitman, I understand you. That's what a mother would think, but I can only refer you to our source texts, which say that if the people of Israel don't listen to what they need to do, then we will get to a state where merciful mothers will cook their children and eat them. It's that, look at what corruption, what distortion, but that's what's written. And it's written. The prophet wrote it. So it could be that we may come to such things. Even nature has a wide selection of means. I actually thought that if I have the coronavirus, if I'm sick, I should know that I'm sick and be careful about not infecting anyone else. So I need to close myself in, to shut myself in, not in order to avoid catching the virus, but in order to not infect others, myself. But if I do infect someone else with my virus, I get my virus back from him, and then I become truly sick. So in that way, we can learn how not to give each other bad viruses. That's the. I would think that, nature has that to do. Shelley, the question is, me and the people hearing you now, we say, yes, we agree with the approach, but what can I do right now so that in 2 months' time a much more dangerous virus doesn't come? What can we do? Laitman, listen to what the Kabbalists say, that other than connection between us, there is no cure, and there cannot be, and there doesn't need to be any cure to humanity, only connection. Duty. Here online, people are saying they don't understand what you meant with infecting someone else and getting the virus back. What? Laitman, I'm sick. Now, because I'm not careful, I pass my virus on to others. And if I receive that virus back from them, then it's not that I'm just sick, I'm terribly, awfully sick. It's something terrible. Meaning to get back from another the virus that you infected him with to begin with, that would be the true cause for the disease, I'm saying. So that in that way we will learn how to relate well to others, how to take care of others, how to be considerate of others. Chaim, in Japan there was a case where someone got sick and he deliberately went out to bars and talked to people, he hugged people on purpose. And he was fine. Afterwards, he came home and he got sicker and he died himself. And he wasn't old, didn't have any what do you call it, comorbidity. But there's a kind of justice there. Laitman, no, that's not where justice ends. There are other trials to come, and I don't envy him. Duty. So 2 months of, the survey shows that 2 months of social distancing made people very afraid of coming back to their routines. They prefer to remain at home. The concept of the coronavirus or being infected is very frightening to them. So a person feels better at home. What do you recommend for him to do? Laitman, I can't recommend anything, but you should know that we truly don't have a cure, and we're not even advancing in that direction of finding a cure for the coronavirus. And we're not thinking, we're not hearing yet. We're not hearing that the cure for the coronavirus is through good connections between people. Perhaps they can test it in labs, we can get some statistics, we can do something. Yes? Write about it. Recommend to that Bill Gates or whoever. Have them take 1,000 people and study their behaviors, or rather teach them proper behavior, even though it's artificial. Let's see to what extent will these people catch viruses, the coronavirus, and how they'll come out of it if they become sick. You can examine it, you can check. Duty. Okay, so you say let's find a big focus group, so to speak, have this lab where we study people and we see that if they have good connections between them, they'll be healthier. Laitman. Yes, and even if there are sick people among them, these people will heal faster. the disease will be easier for them when compared to the norm. You can do that. You have 1,000 people. Take this focus group. You have 1,000 regular people and 1,000 special people. How are they special? We teach them how to relate well to each other and so on and so forth. So let's see what happens in terms of health with this group and that group. It's interesting. Well, is it such a problem for humanity where you have millions in danger? And it's on the way, it's coming. It's like a spaceship landing down on Earth or some meteor or something. We are under threat. Let's do it. Duty. We who study the wisdom of Kabbalah all over the world, as we call it, the world Kli, aren't we that focus group? Laitman. Relatively speaking, yes. Yes, we can test. I don't know exactly how to do the tests because we have to compare it to something down outside of here, right? People who don't learn, so we need to take their methodology and also compare their way of life, how they're being taught and everything, and we need to cross these nets, so to speak, so superimpose the data, and then you can not only with respect to good connections between people, you can do it with respect to, let's say, families, these kind of families, those kind of families. Where is the research? People are they're growing mad from this virus, and they can't connect the situation with the virus itself and the social situation, the situation of the family, many different situations. So let's advance. Let's advance towards dealing with social problems due to the coronavirus, through the coronavirus event. I think we could find many interesting things there. The virus will teach us how to change ourselves from the other side, right? Because it's not necessarily that it would be the cure, because many other viruses may come, but rather if we change the relationships between us, that could be a cure for everything. Yes, Guy. So I wanted to ask about the field experiment. I got to do these types of things, of course, not with thousands of people. These are very, very complex experiments. But in order to develop or even plan such an experiment, you need first to identify the active components in terms of our intervention, meaning what is exactly this behavior that people need to adopt? And we have the group of people keeping their social distancing, but what exactly is the kind of manipulation is a research term, that we do, and how do we correspondingly measure outcomes? Lightman, I can't tell you on the spot. I didn't think about it so deeply. I'm just talking about how to conceptualize these things, but how to actually do it in practice, you have experts on this. I think that in general, the difference between these two groups would be such that one group will be in free fall, those who behave as is normal in society now, and the other group, for a few good hours a day, they're enhancing the connection between them. They play all sorts of connection games. They try to feel, to have certain feelings for each other, like in a good society, and so on. Guy, so it's very interesting that you opened this up. I want to ask, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that in our test group, even if I don't keep those 2 meters of physical distance, but if I play connection games and I behave according to the way you suggest, Laitman, your sound is broken up. Your sound cut off. Now I hear you better. All right, Guy, all right, I'll ask again. Laitman, slower. Guy, okay, if I understand you correctly, you say that in our test group, even if I don't keep 2 meters physical distance between people, but I play connection games, I do connection activities, as you defined, my chance of becoming sick will be lower than people who keep social distancing and so on. Lightman, I don't think that we should change many variables. You know what research is like, right? You make the all the variables, all the states identical between the 2 groups except for one. Otherwise, you have no proper indication. Guy, yes, of course, you keep everything fixed, constant, unless except for the thing that you want to manipulate. So, is this a practical issue that we can discuss with you? Laitman, I'd be happy to be in contact with actual researchers, yes. Of course, that's why I'm awakening you to write, go write to people, write them letters, or articles and letters as well, and let's awaken such a thing. I also don't understand. You have so many sociologists, psychologists, all those who just 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 speak, talk and talk and talk. Why aren't they thinking about this? Guy, can I answer? Laitman, yes. Guy, because usually the philosophical, sociologist, spiritual people, they don't engage in research with actual research. They just write, as you said, their theories. Those who do research, like verifiable research, they're very narrow in their thinking, let's say. And you speak about a very wide perspective, very wide view, like a sociologist, but you require also a very specific measurement, like an economist or a mathematician. So you need to explain the rationale behind your theory first. What's the connection between engaging in acts of connection games and so on, and becoming healthier, healing from a disease? What's the connection, the theoretical connection here? Laitman, I cannot say, because we have no proof. We only have belief in it. We have what the Testament tells us. These, of course, aren't... that's not serious in terms of modern science, on one hand. On the other, I think that the public, which is in such degrees of pressure, and if it's truly now coming for children, then it'll be in absolute panic. Something where people just begin to grow crazy from the pressure and the danger of it. It's not that some old guy like me sickened and died. So it took a couple of years off his life. It's not, but when little children, really, the public won't be able to tolerate that. So I think let us advance, and the coronavirus will also advance in that direction. And we will see how we can nevertheless bring the research on the connection between people, the inner connection between people, the connection between that and the coronavirus, we will be able to establish it. Is there a way to measure it? Laitman, I don't know. That's the problem. How will you measure? All measurements follow statistics. If we perform a proper experiment, a good experiment, between these two groups, making them as close as possible, with only one variable when comparing our group and another group, we need to see, according to statistics, what happens with 1,000 people, let's say, and then it'll become clear to us that there is some phenomena here. But this is a spiritual revolution in corporeality, a social revolution. It's something you cannot even imagine. How it will be revealed to humanity that good connection between people drives away all of the threats. Chaim. Guy, perhaps we can find populations where such phenomena is observable. It's not exactly research, but there are such statistics which do indicate a connection between the social situation and resistance to disease. There are all sorts of weird statistics like that, which will at least justify actual study, actual research. Laitman, okay, so let's get into that. Guy, I want to say yes, there is evidence. There's the longest, for 70 years now, there's been this research, this study about happiness. It shows that social relationships, it's the strongest predictor for joy, for happiness. So we can develop a theory, and we have variables which enable us to measure our indicators. It is possible to plan out some study. It's called field experiment. There's much to open up here. If Love thinks that this is a direction worthy of developing, even theoretically, we will of course write it. If you think it's something worthwhile to try, then definitely we can work on it. Laitman. What I understand now, what I thought, that's what I said. I have nothing else more than that. If people begin to ask questions, then I'll think and perhaps I'll have more to add. Norma, you said that we need to check, to teach good closeness, right? What is good closeness? It's not physical, as I understand it. Good closeness, being close to each other. Yes. This closeness between people where each one thinks good things about the other, this is called good closeness, that creates a shield around them against this disease. Why? I can continue another sentence with your permission. Because if they are connected together, they become a mini model of the integral humanity, a group. And then, of course, they must be more resistant to the virus. They're more similar to the integral humanity. Judy, can you explain what the content is, what the lessons are that we teach this focus group, which will bring them closer together? What's happening there? Laitman, they need to get lessons, lectures, various examples and exercises all around the subject of treating each other well, and why this is worthwhile for us to do, which is in order to survive, to feel well, to be part of a good, healthy humanity. Yeah, to raise their positive attitude, towards each other. Duty. All right, so it's like I'm in a hotel, I have a vacation, and I'm very nice, considerate, polite to people. So what will happen as a result? Laitman, the result is that we want to know if it will affect their chances of becoming infected with the virus compared to other people. Duty. And what do you think the results of such a study will be? Laitman, I think that there will be a difference. Yes? Sivan, from what we see now, there are many, many people going outside. They're not keeping the rules to the rules. They don't wear the masks. Even if they do wear a mask, they immediately see someone without a mask next to them, and so they take it off. So what does this say about this consideration, which seemingly it's vanishing? Rav, Laitman, I'm not talking about the people walking around the street who have no idea of what they need to do, why it's happening, how he harms others, if he behaves this way or that way. He doesn't take anyone into account, but for himself. He only wants to be healthy himself. And also, not to miss out on any little pleasure he can grab hold of in pubs or coffee shops or whatever. So I have nothing to tell those people. The regular person walking around in the street, I have nothing to say to. Until the virus indeed spreads more and more, in a more inner way. And this will come soon. On the one hand, we will again retire to our homes, our houses. On the other hand, we won't be able to survive anymore with our families between those four walls, and humanity will thus be fried like on a pan. Tamara, I wanted to ask about the research. Can it happen that in a good group where there is connection to some extent, that we will get the opposite outcome in order to promote us towards even greater connection through something worse, or that the solution, the Laitman? Don't ask me all those things. I'm not going any further than the idea that I proposed. Everything else is speculation. The idea is an idea. Everything else is perhaps this, perhaps that. I don't work on maybes. Shelley. So on the subject of that study, does the wisdom of Kabbalah find any connection between the immunity of a person and what the person thinks of others or what others think of him in society? Laitman, I don't know if it's the immune system or some other form of protection working here. I need to get some statistics. And it's not in advance that I say that now we will see how the immunity of a person becomes stronger because he is in a good society, behaving well in the society. That's that's empty. I don't want to speak like that. The immune system or something else. You could say they purify the air, and the air then doesn't allow the coronavirus to pass from one to the other. That's not the way you do these things. You don't speak like that. You talk about numbers, simple numbers. That's it. Anything else besides for that? Duty. Yes, we have more questions that came in. Perhaps it's connected to some extent to the next question. Israel will give $60 million to the fight against coronavirus. What do you think? Laitman, it's a waste of money. That's all. Duty. And if to invest it, then in this study where Laitman, I don't think we need to appear nice and good in the eyes of the world. It won't give us anything. Nobody will remember it or mention it. As per usual, the Jews want to show that they're nice and good, and where they need to act, where they actually need to be nice and good, they don't understand it and they're not doing it. So it will mean nothing. As always, only bad will come of it. The Jews did something with the coronavirus, and in order not to be suspected, and they donate the $60 million as if that covers the damage they did with the coronavirus to the world. That's what people will say. Duty. Okay, so that's clear. Now regarding the study, what you suggested, I'll organize all the materials and raise it next time. Laitman, of course, even tomorrow. Duty. All right, so immediately the people in the healthcare system, they worked very nice, 12 hours a day. Now they again need to return to work and work 26 hours a day. They're treated like slaves, so we see that the coronavirus ends, the crisis ends, and immediately we go back to our crazy regular life, crazy routine. So how can we take the good things from the coronavirus to improve something as a result? Laitman, don't you see that this is how it must be? If people are not educated to behave correctly, properly, if they don't see that they're all in the same pot, and they must behave correctly in order to, achieve some higher goal. If there is no higher goal, then why run around to constantly, why waste my calories, my energy in order to treat other people well? Who's interested in this? No, if I belittle others, disrespect them, this is much cheaper for me, and also I enjoy it a lot because then I don't need to overcome my ego. So what do they want from me? To constantly fight against my ego and to treat everyone positively with a smile and an agreement? And how can you demand this of a person? I don't have the power to do this. I don't have that energy. What do you want? Pay me perhaps and I'll try. Duty. Okay, so on the other hand, we also saw a very nice phenomenon during the coronavirus crisis of people just giving their time, helping others, helping get food and medicine for populations at risk, and so on. Does such behavior indicate an inner change in humanity, in the society? Laitman, look, you can't compare a society under existential threats in a crisis and a society which is already used to that blow, to that, and doesn't really consider it as very dangerous, and a state where the society don't even take it into account anymore and they just laugh it off, right? You have all sorts, so you cannot demand that a population that was never under any social treatment, let's say, something to suddenly act properly. So war, yes, war, that's clear. But if not a war, then we go back to what we had before. Duty. Many people online sent a similar question. What do you think about implanting chips, microchips in every child in order to defend against the coronavirus? Although it's a doubt if it will be even possible in terms of the law here. But what do you think about this in terms of invasion of privacy and so on? Laitman, I don't know what that is about at all. I don't know the risks involved, if it's even permissible for us to do. Even when parents do it to a child and then he grows older and the chip remains inside him, I don't know. I think that this is this. No, I don't think so. I don't think that this is good. Can't the parents damage the child? Can they damage a child's body? No, the country, the state law punishes them. So how can someone else decide to do something like that to my child? It's enough already that they make decisions about the education system, which I suffered terribly from, because I must give them my child for so-called education. No, that's not acceptable to me. Duty. But if by that we can block the spread of the disease, because we can know exactly who infected who, Laitman, you do it with your children. I won't. Why treat this thing like that? We see how many negative results follow these types of things.
Okay.
Guy, the second topic, the subject of unemployment in the United States. It was published that unemployment claims rose by more than 3 million. The number of unemployed has reached 33.5 million Americans in the past couple of weeks. So it's a state where a quarter of the population is living hand to mouth, as we say. So what we wanted to ask is, do you see the situation growing more extreme in the United States, affecting society, or how do you see it affecting society, in short? Laitman, look, they went through the crisis in the 30s, and then they took everyone out to build roads, to all sorts of jobs like that. I think now they should think about some national projects, some grand national projects, and not just to give people a few dollars to each one, but rather to demand something in return. By that, they can put everyone in their proper place, give them some hours of gainful employment. That's what I would do. And I'm certain that there are such works and jobs they can do. That's one thing. And one who doesn't know how to do anything, then sit him down and have him study, as we said we should do. But don't give anyone a single dollar for free. By that, you corrupt the person.
Guy.
Go on, Guy.
Hello. I
said my piece. Guy apparently has a problem with his cell phone. It's his connection. Laitman. Okay, so someone else. Norma. Yes, regarding unemployment, 1 out of 4 is unemployed. These unemployed during the coronavirus pandemic, they seem to choose more to give their time to help others. Does this indicate a social change? Laitman, yes, I don't know what the matter there is. Many people want to assist others on their free time, to do volunteer work. I don't know what the motive for that is. Just like that, a person wanting to give to... why? Perhaps it's out of fear. He wants to help the society, which is in trouble. I don't know. We have no numbers. We have no studies. We don't know anything about that. Together with you, and I'm saying it very seriously, together with you, we're all coming closer to social work, to work with the people as a whole, with great groups of people. And we don't yet feel how we can approach that. We need to look amongst ourselves, people who have some understanding of this. I don't know, I have no duty. We're live on air and several thousand people are hearing you now. Perhaps you can say what kind of people you're looking for, what kind of people should unite as one team, what they should do. This is a good opportunity, if it's happening already. Laitman, I don't even know how to define what we need. First of all, sociologists, yes, people who know statistics, social statistics, yes, how to test these things properly and study them, the things that happen to the people, to society. We need such people. In short, they should start turning to you, let's say, Dudi. Dudi, yes, anyone hearing us can write to me personally. Dudi, I didn't get that, sorry. You can write to info. No, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the address. You can just go to our website, Kabbalah.org or Kabbalah, and you can find the contact information there and write to us. We can create a big staff, big team working on it. Okay, guys, return to us. Can you hear me well? Laitman, yes. Guys, so regarding unemployment, a few years ago, we filmed a show called The Solution with you. You did a new program with Onen Victor last week as well. So you didn't want people called unemployed. Whenever we said that, you grew angry. You said it's not unemployment they receive. They receive a scholarship in return for, well, doing something useful or going out to study, in order to study. So what is the result of this education process, if we succeed in it? Laitman, that everyone understands that health is related to a connection between people. And with the coronavirus, that will also depend, what happens with that also will depend on the relationships between people. We need to find the connection there. There must be a connection. On what level, with what correlation with other data, I don't know, but it must be there. The more integral the society becomes, even a group of 10 or more, accordingly they will become more healthy. I want to check even our own 10s, even though they're still, so-so. Regardless, are we better off in terms of percentages than the normal population? Are we less sick? Check all of the students of Bnei Baruch, everyone who study the wisdom of Kabbalah. Let's at least study that, measure that. Noma. Yes, you gave us an example a few months ago after the big congress in the exhibition gardens in Tel Aviv. We had several thousands joining from all over the world and nothing bad happened there. And you gave the example of connection being a shield against all problems. Laitman. Yes. I think that the numbers should be very decisive. Well, let's see. What do we have today? Even though we're not connected together, it's all virtual tense. Even though the friends, the people aren't meeting, because each one is studying from home now. He doesn't go to work, then if he doesn't go to work, he sits at home all the time. But because there's an inner connection between us, because we speak several times a day, we work together, we become more resistant against the coronavirus. Yes, please. Duty. You said that soon we will return to our homes. So how should we prepare for that? How should we properly make use of the little respite we had now in order to prepare for the next wave? Laitman, we have entered an age called the last generation, or the days of the Messiah. And until we reach the end of this path, we won't just live, returning to some routine. There will be no routine. You'll have constant pressure and different kinds of pressure. And it will be very, very clear. Well, clear to who? That's also a thing. But it will promote us, advance us towards connection and even towards being above reason. Well, above reason for the time being, that's a subject we study here, but soon it will also join into our work in the connection between us. Dudi, can you redefine what is the last generation? You keep repeating that term every time we meet. Laitman, the last generation means that the whole of humanity, all around the globe, is entering a certain road, a certain direction. You can see in people who ran around the stadium, they did 10 laps, right, in race, let's say, and now they have the last sprint to the finish line. So now we're at that straight line towards the finish. All of humanity. Though you have those who are going forwards, like us, Bnei Baruch, and perhaps other groups also exist. I don't feel them so much, but I think they do exist. The problem is that they're not very well connected to the rest of humanity, but we, and after us, all of humanity, to the extent that it can cling onto us, we have entered that part of the path that's close to the finish line. Judy, so what is that about? What's happening now? Laitman, it's a straight run, no turns, straight towards connection between us and with the Creator together. And with every single step we need to see that we are approaching that. Judy, okay, so friends, do you have other questions on the topic? Sivan, yes, in terms of coming back to our regular life, until the next wave, which may be stronger, should people stay at home or should they go out, keep their distance, though, but not have perhaps a long time where people remain at home, which can cause some mental anguish and so on? Laitman, my dear lady, I'm not the Ministry of Health. I don't give people orders regarding how to behave, how to interact. This is not my job at all. I'm talking about healing the social atmosphere between us. And then nothing bad, and definitely not something as earthly as a virus, nothing of the sort will come between us. If bad thoughts don't come between us, then viruses certainly won't either. Because thought is the highest thing that we have between us, and we want to remove that, the bad thing about it. We want to drive away that bad thing. That is the worst, the most dangerous virus. A person's thought. And if we make sure that no such negative thoughts happen, then it's certain that nothing bad will happen in the world, and no bad thing will travel from one person to the next. How can a person guard his thoughts, Laitman? By him being in a good, proper society, and the society then takes care of each individual in it, and then the Creator takes care of them all. Shelley, it sounds like a complete revolution. It's completely different to the way we live now. It's such an extreme kind of life that it's impossible to even imagine. The question is, how will people come close to that? Will they see something positive, a light at the end of the tunnel shining for them, or only perhaps it will be only through anxiety and punishment? How to advance there? Laitman, of course, without some pain we'll never advance, that's known, but there is also research, perhaps some studies showing how good connections between people can help people overcome all sorts of disease. This should be clear. This is, your mood. It helps you. If a sick person, if there's a sick person, you come to him, you make him laugh, you make him happy, he rises, he overcomes, even in that kind of primitive way. Dudi, you said that thought is the highest thing, the highest power acting in reality, so perhaps as a conclusion you should tell us what thought we should come out of this talk with, and in general. Laitman, the thought is such that I wish upon everyone on earth, including those who hate me, everyone, regardless of who, where, what, I wish them only good things. And I want them to be in an embrace with me, all of us together, all of us. Because if I understand that these hate, these are disregardful, and so on, it's the Creator showing me this theater for me to change myself until I can see that everyone are united as one unit, so that the Creator can clothe in them. Dudi, Rav Laitman, thank you for your time. Thank you all the friends, and we will see each other again next on Wednesday. Laitman, except for Wednesday, also, if there are such things that you think are worthwhile to discuss, I'm ready whenever you want. So be healthy, watch yourselves. First of all, your thoughts. All the best.